It's the end of an era for one of Port Lincoln's most iconic landmarks, Boston Island. Owner Peter Davis is going to retire in a couple of weeks when he turns 80.
I started there in 1956 working, so it's about 65 years come this November, December.
Island farming has some unique challenges. Most importantly, how to get things off and on and across to the mainland.
The tidal height, the sea state, which way is the wind blowing. There are a range of variables which make, never mind the provision or the delivering things like water or electricity or buildings, like for instance our wharf, which doesn't look like much other than a heap of broken down concrete. Well, about $500,000 has gone into that wharf.
The Investigator has carried about 14,000 sheep off the island and into Port Lincoln since he bought the boat in the 1980s. This is the last load of sheep he's delivering to the wharf. Mr. Davis is handing over the island's future to his son Hugh. Peter Davis has made a living from wool and sheep for almost 65 years, but says it's time for a new direction for Boston Island. For the past 6 years, he's sold the year-old lambs to destock and reduce pressure on the fragile island ecosystem.
Probably there will remain, I don't know, a remnant mob of 50, 100, grazers, if you will, lawnmowers. But that's huge. We're down to 400 or 500 grown sheep.
Well, we've been taking him off the island from him for about 5 years now, I suppose, and works good for Peter because he's got someone close by to pick him up this end, and it's good for us, somewhere not far to go and get them. When they get home, they are a bit skittish. They are a little bit free-range island sheep, so they will take a bit of herding up next time we get them in. There'll be a bit of chasing to be done, but they'll settle down eventually and be the same as all the other sheep.
Agriculture has taken its toll on the land, but some damage was done well before the Davis family took over in 1954.
The first bushfire there was caused by Matthew Flinders. He burnt the show out over 3 days. Everybody, every white fella, has damaged the place, but in particular, my family did. You know, that era happened across Australia. When we'd finished knocking timber down, the main water course on the island was it would have been 2-3 times seawater salinity. It was shocking. It was killing sheep overnight. That takes some doing. First thing I did, I brought down off the station a suitcase full of Athol pine or Tamarisk articulata cuttings, and they are extremely saline tolerant. So I pushed these sticks into the ground above the salt damaged land, and they did quite well, and they got the saline water back underground. Then we started planting tubes, and there's thousands. And it was one of the early places to undertake really serious re-veg, but you can see the result today. And we planted a lot of wrong species, but you know, it was part of the learning curve. Native pine, shio, eucalypt. It's a beautiful island again now. You can look out, you go up top of Winters Hill and have a look at Boston Island, you can't help but notice, and I shouldn't be bragging, but I am, because it's now that dark olive green of stable country. The trees, the bird species alone have just gone berserk. You know, there's, I don't know, 40, 50 bird species here now, and they sure weren't here. When we first came here, all the native birds disappeared, other than wedge-tailed eagles and crows. And they were living off the carcasses of the sheep that were dying, because there were too many bloody sheep here.
He leaves a legacy of a greener island with plenty of potable water. An artificial catchment area helps collect 1.5 million litres of water. It's stored above ground in a system of storage tanks, pumps, pipes and windmills. Then the excess water is pumped to an underground aquifer. Peter Davis expects he'll stay on to help his son Hugh take the island into the future, exploring residential and tourism options.
Boston Island has a wonderful future, which I hope Hugh can deliver, delivering a South Australian magnetic island, a large slab of residential accommodation, and that will provide the cash flow through the 7 months of the off-tourism season to run the ferry system. Islands are tricky places. Everybody wants one, but I've got a problem. And they're all beautiful. They're all different. They all have their own charm, different appeal. But when you get one, I can tell you, that's when you start losing hair.